Hey guys, Captain Goggles here, and I have the Ascend 12T right behind me. We're going to do a review on it. I've been using this kayak for over 2 years, and I'm going to be honest and brutal with it. Should you or shouldn't you buy it? Watch this review, guys, and we're going to go in depth, so check it out and let's stay tuned. All right, guys, first things first, we're going to go over a little bit about the kayak. It is 12 feet long. They have them in many different colors. I decided to get this one in the camo. In the front, you have a little bit of storage here that you can wrap and rope things around. These are pretty sturdy. If you come back to the center here, there is a larger compartment that you can put stuff in, probably about a half arm's length on the right and half arm's length on the left. Place that I put my lunch. I gotta put a water bottle in there and my camera equipment. It is rubber lined here, but it is not waterproof. On the floor there is some SeaDek like material so that you can stand on it and have a little bit of grip. In the center here we do have a smaller compartment for like phones and keys, wallets and such, also not waterproof. We have tool storage here in the back right before the seat, and that is where you can add your pliers, scissors, things of that nature. And we do have a cup holder right here as well. One of the first challenges I noticed with the Ascend 12T was the seating arrangements. If you look down here, where Bass Pro, and if you buy it stock from the store, you're going to be sticking your seat here in these clips, and the front part of the seat is going to be going in these grooves, and that just has you so low to the water when you cast out and hook a fish, you're not going to be able to have a lot of leverage. So the first thing I did was I watched a little video where this guy grabbed these angled pieces of aluminum at Home Depot. You measure them out, cut them in place, and watch, the seat just fits perfectly. I'll show you here. So you're going to grab your back part, put it right angle in that groove, put your front part down, squish it in. It fits like a glove. It's really strong, sturdy, never had it come out on me. Brings you up about 6 to 8 inches. When you cast out now and you hook up on a fish, you're not going to have to worry about losing that fish because you're going to have a little bit more leverage. And it also gives you a lot of storage underneath that seat. You can put a lot of tackle, you can put water bottles, you can put, a net or something underneath there to keep you and give you some more space. Now if we come to the back here, really cool idea that I do like that Bass Pro did here is they add these ribs. So without the ribs, you're looking at a flat surface, and if you have a flat surface, you're not going to have anything to keep your milk crate up, and that's what a lot of people that kayak fish do. So I got a small little milk crate, or a little plastic tote box here from Office Max, and what it does is those little ribs keep the crate up, and when I stick important things back here, they're not going to get wet because it's a little bit off the ground. There are some notches here, and that's where I stick my bungee cords so that this won't go anywhere, and it also keeps it from moving when I'm traveling down the road, or if I hit a rogue wave or run into a dock or something. And then I add some rod holders here with zip ties, which is great, gives you a little bit more extra rod storage. The kayak does come stock with 2 rod holders that angle backwards, and these ones go straight up. In the back, lastly, we do have another little similar storage compartment to the front with the bungee ropes, and they work well. Typically that is where I keep my life jacket. Alright guys, now we're going to talk about the negative things, the cons, the stuff that I don't like about the Ascend 12T. The biggest thing I noticed when I first got in this kayak is I would paddle on the right and the kayak would go wide left, and then I'd paddle on the left and the kayak would go wide right, and that drove me crazy. There is zero trackability on this kayak. If you're really thinking about getting this kayak, I would highly recommend that you install a rudder on the back of the kayak, which will help you with directional issues that this kayak has, because it doesn't really have a well-built keel. So when you paddle, it's just going to swing you hard right or swing you hard left. So that was the biggest issue that I noticed when I was using this kayak right here. The second largest issue that I saw with this kayak is if you buy a paddle at Bass Pro Shop, they're going to sell you this paddle right here. This is the Ascend Tournament paddle, and you can see it has this notch right here for retrieving lures. good Lord, do not buy it. It is horrible. At least down here in Florida, we have a lot of issues with aquatic vegetation, hydrilla, lily pads, things of that nature. When that stuff gets caught in here, it is a nightmare. You'd be paddling, and you just lift up probably about a pound of hydrilla because it gets stuck in that notch. To test it out, what I did is I grabbed a plastic solder and I cut the whole thing off, and actually it helps. So I've done it with both sides. I've done one with and one without, and when I paddle, it comes off when I flip the paddle over to paddle again. So I don't recommend buying it and doing this. I just recommend getting it without it, but this is what I had to do because it was so bad. So I know a lot of guys that live in different states might not be a big issue for you because you don't have aquatic vegetation like we do down here in Florida. But if you're gonna buy this kayak and you do live in Florida, do not get this paddle. It was horrific and horrendous. So the second biggest issue I had with the Ascend 12T was the durability factor. I drug this kayak over one time over a bed of rocks, which typically is not recommended, but, oh boy, it's falling. But one time and I put a hole in it, I mean, come on, that's unacceptable. A kayak is meant to be put in difficult situations, so for that, I say not good. Okay guys, so what are some things that are positive about this kayak? What are some things that are good about this kayak? Okay, the number one thing is obviously the price. Cha-ching! The price of this kayak is only $820. It's on sale. Normally it's $870, $900. So it's not bad, guys. For, you know, $800 roughly, you can get in a 12-foot kayak and go anywhere you want. That's pretty cool. Most 12-foot kayaks are probably going to be $1,500, $1,200, or even more if you're looking at pedal-driven kayaks. So, for what this is fantastic. The next biggest question I get is, can you stand on this kayak? And the answer is, yes, you can. Now, there's enough room for about both of my feet right here. I wouldn't say you could do it. I would probably have to say if you're a larger person, probably out of the question, but somebody who's a little bit smaller, like me, you can probably do it. It's a little bit wobbly, and if you hook a fish, it's probably not going to work out. Is this kayak heavy? Not really. I can drag it by myself one-handed, and I can pick it up by myself with one hand. If you're having to put it over the top of your car to get to where you're going to fish, I'd probably say you're going to need at least 2 people, but putting it in the bag of my truck by myself, not a big deal at all. Alright guys, well, final thoughts on the Ascend 12T. I'd have to say, for the money, you can't really beat this kayak, and that's why I got it. Whenever I don't want to take my boat out and I want to hit a secluded area, maybe do a little bit of saltwater, this is pretty fun. But if you're somebody who's going to get this kayak as a full-time fishing use, I probably wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend getting something a little bit wider, maybe something that has pedals. But overall, that's my thoughts on the Ascend 12T. If you guys have any comments, or if you have it yourself, comment below and tell me what you think about it. If I had to do this all over again, I probably would not buy this kayak. So those are my honest opinions, guys. Those are my thoughts. I've used this kayak and I've done a lot with it. So thank you for tuning in to Capt Goggles. Please, guys, subscribe if you love my stuff. We're posting 2 videos every week.